In Louisiana, a former police officer pleads guilty in a chase that left 2 teens dead and 1 injured. In Alabama, a road rage incident leads to an altercation with teens at a gas station. And in Ohio, a judge throws out a confession for murder of his sons. These stories and more coming at you today on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino. Boys,
what's up?
What up, Michael?
Welcome to Broussard.
Broussard, yes. Underneath that giant
Beautiful
American flag,
Broussard.
Right?
I was very impressed with you scaling the flagpole today to go climb all the way up there.
But you know, that's one of the many skill sets,
that was
right?
really athletic of you.
Yeah, well, just hold on. I got more.
You got more coming?
I do.
He's like Toby Keith. He's good one time.
Yeah, not as good as I once was.
That's right.
And this being my old stomping grounds, y'all, we're recording from Parish Forensics and Louisiana Pet Crematory.
Yes.
And guess what? We have the Roy and the 2 Kristens with us.
For all of you folks out there who thought they didn't exist,
right?
They were just names we made up.
Now you know.
We're here today to prove that Roy and the 2 Kristens are real.
Y'all want to say hello?
Say a quick hello.
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 We're real.
Hello, good morning.
They do exist.
Right. So y'all, it's Roy and Kristen, and evidently, like names, I screwed up hair color. And I said before I was talking about it, I said that one black and one brown.
Yeah.
So
No, that
We
I mean,
both have brown hair, for the record.
we're qualifying your hair as brown.
Yes.
I always
Okay, I
thought it
don't
was
know.
black.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Roy on that.
I am.
I'm thinking black.
I'm thinking black and light black. So
I'm no expert on hair, so
Jim's is natural, though.
yeah, that's right.
y'all,
I'm a natural bald.
you're not going to believe this facility that they have here in Broussard. We're going to do a lot of videos and pictures and post them on social media, so you'll get to actually see the products we've been talking about. And Roy, I know that you can give us a little bit about history about the business.
Yeah, so Parish Forensics was originally Louisiana Forensic Center, which began in 2007. I think around 2014, we built a new facility. In doing so, we decided to build an on-site funeral home with 2 on-site crematories. It was around 2020 when we decided to move into the pet arena. And so we have 2 on-site human crematories and 2 on-site pet crematories, all of which all 3 businesses are separate but on the same location, kind of like a one-stop shop for death, if you will.
Right.
Let us do the branding, Roy. I don't think we want to go with that one.
That's a steady business, right? And but it's a beautiful facility, several buildings here, and you employ over 20-something people, you said?
Yeah, just over 20, I believe.
But you, like this morning, you brought us some great boudin and evangeline bread. But they had a death investigator from Washington Parish in, right? So you get them from all over the state, and that on that side, as far as autopsies.
Right. For Parish Forensics, we serve roughly 20 or 22 parishes for their autopsy service. And so every day we may have investigators, both medical legal investigators from the coroner's office as well as law enforcement investigators here from all over the state here to view their autopsies.
Right. And then, it's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're going to let me use the scalpel I brought today and do a first incision. I mean, the first few inches don't matter that much, right? So if I go outside the lines a little bit. But actually, last night, one of the things you said that really struck with me, and I thought, yeah, of course, was when you said that the folks who are dealing with the deceased pets are a lot more emotional than the folks who are here
That's true.
for funerals. So people do love their doggies.
Fur babies.
Right. And I have a bunch of them. So Kristen, tell us what you do.
So I am a licensed funeral director and embalmer, and then I'm also the general manager over all 3 companies, the funeral home, the forensic center, and the crematory.
I mean, you look like you're 18 years
She's
old.
she's like Chick Dexter.
Right. And that keeps you busy, right?
It keeps Very busy.
Right.
Management is way harder than being a funeral director.
Yeah, dealing with people. I get it. Miss Kristen?
I am the brand manager and like the marketing manager. So I'm just overseeing the branding and the marketing and kind of like the design aspect of all three companies. So that just kind of encompasses everything. I started out in the forensic side and helping with autopsies in the beginning, but now I've transitioned into marketing.
Right.
She's like really wherever we need her.
So just
that day.
omnipresence.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of stuff to make sort of death cool. Like that, your marketing is decidedly different than a funeral home's traditional marketing.
We try to be. We try to be for sure.
Did you do the marketing like for the stickers and all that stuff? So y'all, when I went to the LOPA and the Corners conference that Roy and the two Kristens had the table set up with some of the coolest stickers. And I was like, damn, I meant to get some before I left. So we can get some today and we'll post the pictures of them. The true crime fans are going to love it.
Well, I'll just say about the marketing aspect, kind of what you're saying with the coolness and tying it all into death, which is hard to do because we are compassionate about our families. Like, we love the families we serve. We know they're going through a tough time, but at the same time, we know that death is a part of life, and we try and we want people to just know that we're just like them. I mean, we lose people too. We try to bring them in. We try to talk about those memories and have those good conversations and have them leaving with a light heart, those laughs that we can get in when they're going through tough times. Those are the best ones. So, although we try and take a slightly humorous approach and make it fun and interesting because we know people are interested in this topic, it doesn't take away from the fact that we really care about the families that come in here. For sure.
Absolutely. And you see the families on their worst days, right? And one of the hardest things I ever had to do as a homicide detective is go tell people their loved ones have been murdered. Yep. And then y'all deal with it from the autopsy and the funeral side and everything else. So but it's awesome, what y'all do and putting your own personal touch on it, but still being caring and compassionate and all that. And Roy, you've been doing this forever, right?
Right. I've been in the industry since 1999. But for those of you who really don't understand exactly what we do, Louisiana is a 100% coroner state. We have 64 parishes. Some of you may call them counties, but here they're parishes. And we have 64 coroners. And each coroner can utilize whatever autopsy resources they choose. We are the only privately owned forensic autopsy company in the state that provides services to coroners, hospitals, and the general public alike. Wow. So it's a little different. It's a lot different, really, from a medical examiner's system. But we've been very, very fortunate that a lot of the coroners around the state put their trust in us for their autopsy services. So at the end of the day, we provide them with a solid opinion on cause and manner of death, which some family members are good with, and sometimes they're not. It's tough to tell a mom that it was suicide when she thought it was something different.
Right. So I mean, no one wants to believe their child or their loved one, and I had to deal with that a lot over the years.
Right.
Without for any other reason than they don't want to accept the fact. But you provide the clear truth through science and what have you, right? Pretty amazing.
And you have those families that you really get close to because we had an incident where a young man died of an overdose and he was at the forensic center and they chose to use us for cremation services. Right. So we brought him into our care. And me and his mom have formed a really good relationship, just never even really speaking over the telephone, back and forth via email. She knew what path her son was going down, and she kind of already knew what had happened and what to expect, but she having us to kind of guide her through this part, and she was really lighthearted about it. Every time we talked, we would kind of laugh and joke and go back and forth, and she was just super appreciative of everything. So
That's
you do
awesome.
have those two who kind of expect it and can deal with it.
Speaking of overdose, and if I could, I think we touched briefly on this last night. Parish Forensics has acquired a piece of technology. One of one of the only kind in Louisiana, where it is a toxicology machine that we can get quantitative and qualitative, meaning we can figure out what drug is in the system and how much of it is in the system. What's unique about it, it's a rapid toxicology machine. So if we have a suspected overdose, we can insert blood of the decedent into the machine and within 30 minutes time have the drug identified and the amount, which is incredibly important because of this uptick in overdoses we're seeing, particularly from fentanyl. This is allowing coroners to make a solid decision moving forward if they need an autopsy or not.
Right.
But more importantly, investigators, if they have a suspect that they know or they suspect provided the decedent with fentanyl and has that drug on their person, we can let them know rapidly if that drug is in there.
Traditionally, how long would that have taken?
Well, it used to, before this epidemic began, we would get tox back within 7 to 10 days. But now, nationwide, it's such an issue. It's backed tox up to 6 to 8 weeks now.
Right.
Wow.
And this is what I was talking about, y'all.
Yeah.
One of the innovations that you have as a company. I wish, like on Courtney Coco's case, that we'd have had that. That case would have never been cold. It would have been worked as homicide, not said accidental. And there's so many cases and so many families that reach out. But I think of all the scenes I've been on, and if we could have had that, it would have been just tremendous.
It's going to be a great tool. That's really going to change the face of.
And it cuts out a lot of the, as you said, from an investigator standpoint, but it cuts out the families grieving that question, and oh, my kid wouldn't die from overdose. Somebody must have strangled her or whatever, right? And you would say whether they like it or not. But I think that's going to be a game changer from an investigator standpoint.
We do as well.
Yeah. So
Y'all are so normal.
Yeah.
It's
You're not.
Well, yes, I'm definitely the strangest of the 6 of us gathered here, but we had fun time last night going out to dinner together and really getting to know each other. But the picture that you have in your head of people that work in this industry is they're a little bit off. Right. We talked last night about there maybe being a couple of those people running around the building, but you're around the industry a lot. You go to a lot of these trade association events and stuff. Are most people in your position pretty normal, or is there a lot of weird out there?
I guess that's subjective.
You have to find normal, and you can't do that, Mike.
Right.
Very stereotyped, which is not accurate.
Yeah.
Like, we don't drive around hearse for a living.
Yeah.
Like, we don't take a hearse home to our house.
You would look good in a hearse. I think you should.
I do wear a lot of black, but not like, heavy metal black.
Yeah, I guess aside from wearing all black, we're fairly normal,
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do take a more laid-back approach here, though, than your traditional average funeral home. So I think a lot of people in the community need that. Too.
Yeah.
Just not having some grumpy person in a suit staring across a table from you,
Right.
waiting for you to give them what you want. We try and make it normal for them to come in here and not be scared or intimidated, or they can feel at home.
Well, that, and we really strive to provide families with affordable services. Cremation has taken over the traditional burial options, and we have so much to offer families here, what we consider to be the non-traditional options. We just like to have the family feel at home, know that they're not being taken advantage of. Not that any funeral home takes advantages of.
Well, there was
families.
that one in Colorado that maybe took slight advantage of some families.
We're going to talk about our new segment, Ask Roy.
But we like to think we're doing a good job all around, providing families with answers and comfort and closure.
So, Roy, you and I were talking a couple weeks back about something that I think the audience will have a lot of interest in. That's pretty unique in the use of a new boat that you guys have acquired, and being able to go and do some burials at sea.
That's correct. Well, we're going to call it unattended burials at sea.
Unattended burials,
which means
at sea.
we're not going to bring family out with us, but for families that select this option, we'll take their loved ones' cremated remains. We will respectfully lower their loved ones' remains into the water, all the while videoing the whole process.
Really? That's cool.
Once the remains are released, we'll mark the GPS coordinates. We will provide the family with a certificate of burial with the coordinates of which way where they are. And they'll get a memorial video and the certificate. I know this is being done in some other areas of the country, but it's certainly not being done here in Louisiana. So we're looking to pave the way once again and give families a different option. And what's really cool about this option is that you don't have to use our funeral home for the cremation. You can be in Iowa, right?
Right.
And if you feel that your loved one would have preferred this option, you can mail us your loved one's cremains, and we can facilitate the burial here.
Hey, that's crazy. I'm a big diver and I'm a water baby. So first of all, I want that option. Sign me up for it. But years ago, in Cozumel, one of my buddies runs a dive shop, and when some swims throughs on the reef, they had put somebody's cremains inside the reef. It was a big diver, and every year his family would go down and do it. Yeah. So you give them the GPS coordinates. That's super cool. But one more question real quick. What's the name of the boat? At one time, I got to know.
I hadn't named it yet.
Okay, well, then hold on to it.
That new.
Yeah,
all right.
Because one time I had 5 boats in the yard. My wife said, "You got to sell some of these boats."
Well, if I name it something Louisiana, my wife will probably want to kill me. All the companies are named after Louisiana, but I wanted to do that option, Woody. I wanted to explore the eternal reef.
Right.
But here in Louisiana, we can't. The waterway where we are, it's mud. Yeah, it's not sand, it's mud.
Right.
And it's murky, so eventually, the reef would just submerge itself in the mud. Right. They do that in Florida, though, which is a really neat option. And divers can go out and memorialize their loved one at these reefs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I was going to say, that it is done in a lot of tropical areas. We initially thought about it. We wanted to tie it into our bayou life. There are stipulations and scattering in waterways, so the closest we can get to bayou style is Gulf of Mexico, to be within that scope.
And if you can find one of those artificial reefs, and put myself, and then my kids can come fish over me.
That's right.
Cool.
That's cool.
But anyway, hey, thank y'all so much for having us. We're going to get into the regular show, but y'all are awesome. Thank you for the partnership and sponsoring us and being cool people, right?
100%.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, every morning I try to listen to the show most mornings, and to actually get to talk with you guys has been a real treat.
Right.
Love that.
Cool.
Well, I told her last night that it's kind of like Love is Blind, the reality show. It's like I'm finally meeting the face to the voice.
The face to the voice.
Yeah, that's cool. Well,
Very cool.
We enjoyed it, and beautiful facility here, and we back y'all 1,000%.
Well, and in our case, it's good that Love is blind. And I know how you were talking last night about how busy you are, and that you found fast forwarding through Jim's segments allows you to keep up with the show on a daily basis, Kristen.
Whatever.
So I recommend you continue to do that. You'll be able to get through them in 30 minutes or so.
I have to listen to Woody on a faster speed.
Oh, yeah? The 1.5?
Yes, so it's all good as long as you listen.
That's right.
After you guys show, y'all can come join us in the morgue. We have a surprise for Jim.
Outstanding.
Hey, we'll make sure to
Get
post it. So
Looking forward to it.
thank you, Roy, and thank you, Kristen and Kristen.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
brown hair. Thanks, black hair.
Anytime.
All right, y'all. Let's get into some crime time for Friday.
All right, and we're going to start off right here in Louisiana. And a former Louisiana police officer has pled guilty on Monday to 2 counts of manslaughter for the deaths of 2 teenagers and negligent injuring of a third following a New Year's Eve high-speed crash in 2022. And we actually brought you this story 15 months ago.
Yeah.
It was when we first started this show. So this is an update on that case. The judge ordered the former officer to surrender at the West Baton Rouge Parish Jail by May 23rd. If he does not show, he'll have to serve the full 32 years. David Cawthorn was traveling at speeds of around 100 miles per hour just before he went through a red light and slammed into a vehicle carrying Brusly High School cheerleaders Maggie Dunn, who was 17, and Caroline Gill, who was 15, along with Dunn's 20-year-old brother, Liam Dunn. The girls were killed in the crash. Dunn's brother was seriously injured. The accident happened as Cawthorn was chasing Tyquil Zanders, 26, who was accused of stealing a family member's car in Baton Rouge before fleeing into the neighboring parish. Zander, who ran multiple red lights, was also indicted on manslaughter charges and aggravated flight. Cawthorn's trial before District Judge Tanya Lurie was set to begin on Monday. However, District Attorney Tony Clayton was quoted as saying the case was the epitome of the victims having their rights heard. It's the quintessential case in which the victims had a say in what took place. He did take a plea deal in order for that trial not to start. Cawthorn was placed on leave from the Addis Police Department after the crash, and he resigned about a month later. When he was released from prison as a condition of his plea deal, Cawthorn will be restricted from working in law enforcement, and he must speak to law enforcement and schools about his actions. And before we get into the commenting on this, I do want to mention there are 2 interviews that actually dropped yesterday with Kieran Chawla, and they on Unfiltered with Kieran, and they are unbelievable. Interviews with the families, because the first thing we ask is, how do the families feel about this 10-year, essentially a 10-year sentence because 22 years were suspended?
Right. And what did they say?
Tune
in and listen.
Louisiana Unfiltered. Check that out, and you'll hear what they said. But it was amazing to see that the son. This was his first interview ever that he's ever given on this, and really he had like a 5% chance of living.
Yeah. Well, I know Tony Clayton personally, the district attorney over there, and I know he was pissed, right, and rightfully so. This guy did this and with total disregard, thinking that badge had made him bulletproof and what have you, and he killed those babies in the prime of life, and then almost killed this young man. So, I don't think 10 years is enough.
I don't either.
Is it fairly common for a plea deal to get struck that late? Like
always. The best plea deals are struck to the advantage of, the DA has to agree with it too, but the day of the trial.
Because the leverage is on their side to save the state some money, the county.
Well, whatever the reasons may be, the family may not want to go through it and have all the stuff done, but they'll wait till on the defense side. That I had it happen so many times. They wait until voir dire starts, and they're like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm gonna take the deal, right?" Because I don't like the jury's coming in, and they're gonna hear this, and I might get the maximum. But hopefully the family. I'm sure Tony Clayton didn't make the deal without the family's approval.
They approved of it.
Yeah, and then but nothing is going to bring those babies back. Yeah, no,
and just we talk about this a lot with these police chases, and it's such a fine line. But in this case, 9 seconds before he hit those kids, his quote was, "Fuck, this is gonna hurt."
Yeah,
and he never hit the brakes.
Yeah,
never.
9 seconds.
9 seconds. before he hit him. He knew he was going to hit him and never hit the brakes.
Yeah. Panic.
Yeah.
You think that's wow?
I've had people panic and they go to hit the brakes and they actually stomp the gas.
Well, and I remember that. I mean, it was the guy had stolen his dad's car, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like he was a serial killer or something like that.
You would think that the communication would be, look, I mean, we're going to get this guy, so.
Well, and
back
proper
off
procedure
and go
would
easy.
say to back off, you know, at a certain point, correct, Woody?
Right. Well, that's up to the supervisors, but now they changed it where you're supposed to call in when your pursuit starts and how fast you're going and what direction and what the traffic flow is and all this stuff, and the supervisor ultimately makes the decision. Now, back in my day, we didn't really have that. We just chased them, and now, but you had to use your common sense. Like if a motorbike's going down the interstate at 150 and you get out in front of it, you're not going to put a spike strip out because you're going to kill the guy, right?
Right.
It's not worth it for them running away. But it's, it happens I like to think it happens a lot less now, but it happens. It's part of the job. People make poor judgment calls.
Yeah, they really, and just prayers for their families.
Yeah, and those who love them. Yeah. So,
well, let's go. We're going to revisit another story that everybody will remember. A judge ruled that the confession of an Ohio father accused of killing his 3 sons is inadmissible after finding out that he was not properly advised of his Miranda rights. You guys will remember this. This is the father that killed his 3 young sons execution style. Right? And he had the one run away and then brought him back in and killed him. So this happened over the summer. The guy's name is Chad Dorman. He was arrested in June, and authorities accused him of fatally shooting his 3 boys execution style at their Monroe, Ohio township home. He's since been indicted on 21 charges, including 9 counts of aggravated murder. He has pleaded not guilty. Authorities said that during his interrogation, Dorman confessed to the killings. However, in January, his attorneys filed a motion to suppress the confession, alleging that police had failed to properly advise Dorman of his Miranda rights. Apparently, the officers continued to question Dorman after he had asked for a lawyer, which, as we all know, is a violation of your Fifth Amendment rights. So an Ohio judge has now ruled in favor of the motion, and really the judge had no choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Judge Richard Ferenc ruled that prosecutors will not be able to use statements obtained by police during Dorman's interrogation, saying that the police had violated his Miranda rights by continuing to question him after he had asked for an attorney. The defendant's Miranda rights were violated when the custodial interrogation continued after the defendant had unequivocally and unambiguously invoked his right to counsel. So that was the quote from the judge. So police were alerted to the June killings when a woman called 911 and screamed that her babies had been shot. The sheriff's office said back when that had happened, the 3 children, Clayton, age 7, Hunter, age 4, and Chase, age 3, were lined up by their father and shot. One of the boys, as I said, tried to run, but police alleged that Dorman hunted him down and shot him. Police body camera footage reportedly showed officers forcing Dorman to the ground and handcuffing him after finding him sitting on the steps with a rifle next to him. When asked what was going on, Dorman calmly looked at the sheriff's deputy and said, "Nothing." The boy's mother was injured when trying to protect her sons from the gunshots, but she lived. So he executed his 3 sons. Usually it's the whole family and then suicide at the end. This guy was different. So he is set to go on trial in July, despite losing the confession. I think there's a very large pile of evidence here. I don't.
Shame on those cops for doing that. I mean, that's just stupidity. But there's when you were reading this, I'm like, it doesn't even matter. I mean, they got the mother's a living witness and all that, and they're going to have the forensics and everything else, so they're going to get him. But that's why I always advise everybody of the Miranda rights when I start talking to them. I mean, just because you never know what people are going to say and tell you. But this one, you're doing a triple murder of kids, and you don't. Or he says that, he wants a lawyer. Shut up. Okay, you can have a lawyer. Yeah. I mean, you could still tell him stuff, but tell him you don't answer me. I mean, I've been like, Hey, bitch, you can have a lawyer. That's your right. But guess what? I'm going to put your ass in I'm going to get you the needle. I'm not done, right? But I'm not questioning. It doesn't mean I can't tell them what I'm thinking.
Hey, you just talked about a case like that on the original.
Yep, that's exactly right. On Why Not 9.
Yep.
So, interesting.
Now, Ohio doesn't have death penalty?
I don't think
they
can't
do.
keep up with the states. I know Louisiana's got it. It's coming back.
In a big way.
In a big way.
Well, whatever the most they can throw at this guy is, hopefully they will. It's one of the most horrific stories I think we've covered in a year and a half. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and we are now working our way around to where a lot of these cases we brought you initially are getting adjudicated.
Right.
So we're able to provide. I can't tell you the amount of times I get asked questions about whatever happened with this case. Well, guess what? It takes about that long for it to work its way through the legal justice system.
15 months is actually pretty fast.
Yeah. And so we will be bringing you more updates, which is now that these cases do have a conclusion to them.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Speaking of updates, we brought you a story about a teacher who had resigned after her OnlyFans page was discovered a little while back.
It's the one from Missouri.
Yeah,
Yeah,
St. Clair High School.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a little update, and she just can't seem to get a break. A former teacher at a high school in this was St. Louis resigned after her OnlyFans page was reported to district officials. She's been fired just a few days into her new job. Brianna Copage was a teacher for 5 years, spending 2 at St. Clair High School. She was put on leave in October of 2023 after they found out about that OnlyFans. And she said that she was using it to supplement her teacher salary, which obviously they don't pay them enough. After her OnlyFans became public, she disclosed that she made $1 million on that platform. Her teaching salary at that time was $42,000. After leaving the district, she said she struggled to find her purpose. Not having to get up and go to a 9-to-5 has been really tough on my mental health, she said.
$1 million worth of tough.
Copage says she got a job with the Compass Health as a community support specialist. She said she gave the company her previous employment history and the correct information when she applied, but she was fired only a few days into the job. I lasted 5 days before they put me on leave and subsequently fired me this month, she said. They admitted they didn't call my references or Google me before they hired me. Well, they definitely didn't Google her.
It only took 5 days for everybody in the company to look her up.
Yeah, so they claim I violated their social media policy, but will not respond to me with how I violated it. So
She's got a case there.
yeah,
She's got a case there.
Well,
she may very well. But my question is, why are you going to get a new job when you're making $1 million on OnlyFans?
She made
I'm thinking that's my job.
25 years of teacher's salary in that month or two on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's always got a good side hustle she can rely on if she needs to.
As long as she's young. Yeah.
My question is, would you? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
They're going to get hammered by the feds for firing her for. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's
Look, she may have decided after whatever the time period she was on OnlyFans that she wanted to go in a different direction with her life. She wanted to have a more respected profession or get into a more respected profession. And for them to hire her and then fire her immediately, that's on her. They hired her. They had the chance to look at.
They didn't do the resume.
They didn't do the due diligence.
Yeah.
And
so I don't see how now. I don't know what she signed, and you never know what she signed. She's probably an at-will employee. They may have a clause in there that they can fire for cause or without cause.
Yeah.
And
right to work state. I don't know if they are, but.
But it's at minimum, it's a very bad look for them as employers. And she has the ability to make some noise with the following she has. If I were her, I would make a big deal out of this.
Yeah, she's
there you go.
More followers.
Yeah. Mike would like to represent you.
Yeah.
I am available, yes. Thank you.
That's crazy.
I have to talk to my partner at home and make sure she's okay with my involvement. But, she would have no problem with that, I don't think. Really interested to get your guys' opinion on this next story. So we're going to Brooklyn, and a Brooklyn tow truck driver is accused in a fatal attack of a 61-year-old man. But listen to how this happened. So the truck driver was cut loose Monday because of a legal loophole, according to prosecutors. But here's what went down. Kevin Johnson, age 30, allegedly delivered a single punch that sent this guy, Carlisle Thomas, who was 61, twice his age, barreling into the pavement where he fatally struck his head. This all happened during an argument over a $10 parking spot at a Brownsville Shell station on Saturday. On Saturday evening at around 8:45, someone called Thomas to warn him that the gas station manager had called a tow truck to impound his car. So he comes running downstairs. I guess his apartment building was like right next door. He opens the door of the tow truck, and the second he opens the door of the tow truck, this guy Johnson punches him, and he falls backward out of the truck where he was, he was leaning into the truck, and falls backward and bangs his head on the concrete, and he just dies right there. Somebody who witnessed the whole thing said he never touched the guy, only touched his door, and the guy came out and punched him. He's a cool guy. He's got a young son. Why would they do that to him? One punch killed him. Thomas was a former jockey, so this is a little man. He was a jockey at Aqueduct Racetrack in Queens. He's got a son, a daughter, and a stepchild. I mean, if you are a former jockey, to ride, I think you got to be in the 100, 110, 120 pound range. You are a small person. His stepdaughter said that the gas station would charge people in the neighborhood $10 to park overnight if they couldn't find a spot on the street. But that Thomas had a relationship with the shop and sometimes wouldn't pay until he picked his car up the next day. He's lived in the neighborhood a long time and has a relationship with them. So he didn't pay right away this time. This is his stepdaughter talking, and for some reason, they called the tow truck. He's verbally arguing with the tow truck guy, and from what I hear, the next guy hits him so hard, he fell to the floor and his heart stopped. The hit was so hard to the floor that he died right there. So he didn't make it to the hospital, and the hospital was 3 minutes away. Johnson was granted supervised release at his arraignment on Monday on a charge of third-degree assault. Here's why the charge is third-degree assault and not murder or manslaughter. The New York law only allows for charges relating to the punch, and there's no way to prove intent to cause death or any other serious injury, according to police.
Yeah.
So is that a...
I don't disagree with that. It's going to have to be adjudicated whether this guy aggressively, opened his door and the guy was defending himself. But when we talked in the past couple shows about specific intent, there's no specific intent. He punched him, but he hadn't any intent to kill him like the mosquito on the hand. He punched him. As a result of the punch, he falls and cracks his head. That happens on work cases like that. If he gets convicted and this guy, if he came out of his truck and hit him and he fell, he's going to get manslaughter. But tow truck drivers, you can imagine.
Oh yeah,
they get harassed all the time.
And there's not a lot of context around this to say what he was doing to the tow truck driver. Was it?
If he opened,
I don't
the door,
think the guy just swung on him.
Yeah, if he opened the door, if he opened the tow truck door, if I was the tow truck driver, I'd have knocked the shit out of him too.
Yeah,
you got a right to defend yourself.
Well,
you're climbing in the tow truck.
This is a 61-year-old man who weighs whatever he weighs, a former jockey. He's opening the door to say, hey, please don't tow me. I park here all the time.
An 85-year-old, 85-pound female, if I'm driving that truck and you come and you motherfucker, drop my truck, you're opening my door, shit, I'm going to defend myself. Yeah,
he might have thought he had a gun.
Yeah, or he was going to.
And we don't know that he was saying please. He may have been cussing him out.
The law doesn't say, like in Louisiana, it's reverse. Everywhere else, assault is the unwanted touching. Here, it's the threat. But if you are assaulting me verbally, and I'm in reasonable apprehension of fear that you're going to attack me, I have a right to defend myself, and that's is what it is. That's why we have courts.
What they end up charging him with is misdemeanor that hasn't been bail eligible since the statewide bail reforms in New York. So he was just released, slap on the wrist, and this guy's dead. And I don't know, guys. I think you look at some.
If your son was driving that tow truck for a living and had been threatened numerous times, and somebody aggressively opens the door and is saying things,
and as an old man that weighs 110 pounds, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, we can agree to disagree. It is sad.
It is. It is really sad. But I don't. What do you think about this, Mike? Do you think he had the intent to kill him, or do you think he's just trying to punch him?
No, he didn't have the intent to kill him, but he had the intent to punch him, and that's what he did. And if you're twice someone's size and half their age.
What's he supposed to do? Hug him and kiss him out of his truck?
How about he talks to him?
Well, if you're opening my door,
people chase tow trucks.
I understand
all around the country
but
every day.
Do they climb inside the door and open the door? Wouldn't you open, if that part is true, what am I supposed to think as a driver? I don't care what size you are. You're screaming at me and you're opening the door. Shit, you're coming after me. I'm gonna defend myself. But that's why it's America. And you know what? It'll be adjudicated.
It'll be adjudicated.
Right. And hey, I want to know what happens because I bet you. Well, it's going to depend on. If the guy really opened his door or not.
Well, they're not denying that he opened his door. So,
yeah,
he opened the door.
What's the difference between the tow truck door and the door of your house? The guy coming in, if he's a little bitty guy and he's threatening you.
Well, there is a difference between the tow truck door and your house.
What's the difference?
The guy is towing your car.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That is different than somebody coming into your house.
Yeah, but when you go in the truck, your vehicle is an extension of your home.
That's true, but it's not literally true. And so
it's true if you're getting attacked.
Okay, but common sense, assess the threat. You've got a guy that rode horses his whole life who's there, and I don't know, and it's not in any of the reporting on this, whether the Carlisle was aggressive at all with the guy, and he sounds like the kind of man that wouldn't have been overly aggressive. He would have been, hey, I always park here, and they let me wait until the next day to pay the $10. I don't know who called you, but let me go pay them and try to get out of this because obviously they tow your car to get. By the time you get it out, you're $250 in for a $10 parking spot, and now the poor guy's dead.
He could have said that without opening the door. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he could have. Right. I don't know if he could have. It's still winter in New York. The guy was probably comfy and snug in his truck, and the only way for the guy to hear you was to open the door.
Maybe so. But we'll get it adjudicated and see what they say, because three sides to every story.
Okay. Well, Carlisle, I feel for you, buddy.
I feel for him too.
All right, that's a great segue into our next story. And speaking of rage incidents and road rage in particular, an Alabama man started a road rage fueled fight at a gas station in Niceville.
That shouldn't happen in Niceville,
Florida. I know that's the most ironic part of the story was in Niceville. Walton County Sheriff's Office say 40-year-old Alabama resident Thomas Keebler, who apparently has had multiple brushes with law enforcement so far in 2023, attacked three teenagers at a gas station after they did something he didn't like on the road. Surveillance footage from the gas station shows Keebler pulling into the station ahead of the teens, but he did not pull up to the pump. Instead, he blocks the teens in at the pump and clearly attempts to look as if he's trying to start something. If you are followed by someone in a road rage situation, that person waits till you stop somewhere before getting out of their own vehicle. It's probably a good indication a confrontation is about to occur. The video footage that I saw in this incident does not have audio, so I don't really have a good idea of what the teens said. But you can see at first Keebler was tugging on the door handles of a Kia Soul because he wanted a face-to-face confrontation. Like in so many incidents, once the targeted kids got out of the car, Keebler became more aggressive, eventually escalating into physical violence. He even at one point shoves a teen girl who got out of the Kia. She smartly runs off to find help as the man throws her friends to the ground and continues beating them. The man the teenage girl called over seemed to intervene and calm things down in the video. Keebler then starts to climb into his truck, but not before another man can be seen walking toward the truck, recording the incident on his phone as he points to the back of the truck and the license plate as Keebler drives away. That was a smart move because that was the way that the Walton County Sheriff was able to catch this guy. But this was a pretty big bowed up dude, older guy, but had just got out of jail. And, the road rage is just in our neck of the woods.
Right.
There was someone recently killed, pulled on a man's door, tried to jump in the truck to hit him.
Shot him.
And the guy shot him and killed him. And it was self-defense. So you just don't know with these
I wish those
incidents.
kids hadn't got out of the car. And I work road rages and stuff like that. And Mike, back to the other story where, the people, it's like being a keyboard warrior until they get actually pulled over or blocked in the person's.
Yeah, then it gets that's
real.
real.
Go on the record. If you do that to me and you block me in and you pull in on the door, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, apparently that guy. Let me see his picture again, Jim.
he's not a jockey at Aqueduct.
No, but he was a member. If you remember,
He's
of
not
the
a jockey.
the rest of his family made cookies, the Keebler elves.
She would say he was a coin
and
boy
he was booted from the family
for being too rough.
for being too big, and so he developed an attitude after that. And
That's funny. That's sort of weird. Those two stories came back.
By the way, I love those. Are they gone? Did the elves go belly up? Because I don't see those. I don't see those cookies
Man,
anymore.
I don't really usually do sweets. So I found them like at the Dollar General store maybe 6 months or so ago.
Yeah,
That is a good cookie.
those elves made good chocolate chips.
Yeah.
They do.
I didn't get the chocolate chip. I had the one like the shortbread on both sides and chocolate in the middle.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't forget what those were called. There's a girl who was the sister of somebody my son played basketball with in California for years. And I buy Girl Scout cookies from her every time that she sends a note saying she's selling Girl Scout cookies. And I went like crazy. I bought 25 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. I didn't tell my wife anything about it. And they came the other day. And she sees me with this big box and this big smile on my face. And she sees me open it and all of these boxes of cookies. She's like, what are you doing? She took them. She's hidden them. I don't know where any of them are in the house. But anyway, I don't know. The Keebler guy got me on a cookie roll. I'm very hungover, folks. And if you haven't picked up on that, and some of it's coming through here.
Hey, y'all. You want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead, not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time-saving. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you're covering. IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, IXL is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love IXL's positive feedback awards and educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Real Life Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and It's been a godsend. Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
Oh, yeah.
Time for some kinky crimes on Friday. Now, y'all, I have one warning before we get into this next story. Beware of the glazed donuts. And, I was assisted in the story by executive writer Mike Hagerby.
Oh no! Don't be pushing the blame this way.
A Colorado grocery store worker has been charged with several counts of indecent exposure after police allege he masturbated on food items. That's right. Stephen Masalta was originally arrested in February after the Fort Collins Police Services alleged that he had been seen masturbating outside multiple businesses in view of employees, in at least one case in view of a juvenile, and that was in July of 2023. Following his arrest in February, police say further investigation revealed that Masalta worked at a Safeway grocery store and allegedly masturbated and ejaculated onto food items during the 2 months he worked at the store. Beware that Safeway special sauce, right? Police say they anticipate that there are additional victims and more charges that could follow. A statement from Safeway reads, "At Safeway, the safety of our customers and our associates is our top priority. We are deeply concerned about the allegations against the former associate, and we are cooperating with the Fort Collins Police and the Health Department in the ongoing investigation of this sticky situation."
That is so disgusting.
Pretty sure.
Nothing safe about that.
I'm pretty sure they didn't say that. But Masalta is charged with 14 counts of indecent exposure, 2 counts of attempted indecent exposure, 4 counts of unlawful sexual contact, 16 counts of attempted sexual assault on a child. That's right. This isn't really funny, but it is sick as shit. And this nut job needs to go fill some cream donuts in a bakery with rubber walls. And hopefully that happens, because he's going to court on March 22nd. That reminds me, there's really not a laugh matter. Denny Perkins case, when he and a cop who I came up with ejaculated on the kids' cupcakes, and the wife was the 5th grade teacher, and she brought them to school and fed them to him. That sicko, but that's kinky. That's why it's kinky crimes for Friday.
Well, imagine working at that Safeway, and so you find this out. Well, I guess you're finding it out way after the fact, which I don't know if that's worse or better. But if you knew immediately, I mean, you'd have to get rid of every bit of fruit and everything that was open in the
but the problem is, I'm sure most of it's been sold after they found out. Even if they got it on video, that just opens up a whole shit show. That's like the cops in Denny's case trying to go identify the kids that ate the cupcakes.
No doubt about it.
Shit show.
Yeah, I wonder what they did, if they could do anything to just make it, to clean up that store. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a shopper in that supermarket. Days after that, that's for sure.
There it is.
Banjo.
All righty. I don't know if I think this guy is that big a dummy, but it's a great story. Have either of you guys ever played the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox?
I didn't play it on Xbox. I played it on PlayStation just for just
I
a
did
minute.
too on PlayStation.
Okay, so
Never
you both are
Xbox.
aware of the game. It's a tactical shooter video
I
game.
used to read the books too.
Yep.
Okay, so today's banjo lover kind of proves you can be a dumb criminal even if you're not a dummy. 17-year-old Elijah Siraki had been playing this game, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, moments before police swarmed his home.
All right.
Armed officers, this happened in Kentucky, were responding to a 911 call about a teenager who said he had killed 2 people. In that moment, young Elijah understood what must have happened. He looked quickly at his phone and he saw one outgoing call to 911 and then 3 subsequent incoming calls from 911. Shit, he thought, I must have butt dialed 911. And then he realized how loudly he was playing the video game, which was filled with automatic gunfire. Siraki didn't know it yet, but what the 911 dispatcher had heard was him inadvertently admitting to killing 2 people during the 4-minute 911 butt dial call.
This can't be real.
Oh no, it's real. I've got the video. The police video shows Siraki walking out of his home with his arms raised. He begins to explain to officers that he's okay and the call was a mistake. Quote, I was playing a game and I butt dialed the phone. And you can hear him saying this on the video. His voice, and you could tell he's scared shitless as he's doing it. So his voice is shaking as he's talking. And then a cop yells back, okay, are you sure? And you can hear that come through the video as well. And then Siraki says, wait, what? No, it's only me home. Call him to you, one officer says. And then another one says, keep walking to us. And then you can hear and see Siraki begin to slowly make his way out of the house toward the officers. And an officer says, is everybody inside okay? Siraki says, nobody's inside, it's only me. Okay, bring him out. Hey, buddy, what's your name? Another is heard asking Siraki as he gets closer to the officers. The second they can get him, they grab him, they throw him on the ground, they put his arms behind his back and cuff him. And the cop says, were you playing video games? And he said, yeah, I was. And so Siraki was interviewed on this podcast like the week after that and said that, I got on my phone to watch TikTok. That's what I usually do when I die. And I see a call on my phone. It's 911. I started freaking out. I got 3 calls from the dispatch trying to call me to figure out what's going on. In no more than 2 minutes, my dogs start barking at the front door, and they're pretty smart dogs. And then they run over to me on the couch and in the other room, and they run back to the front door. The teen said he thinks a call was made by the iPhone's emergency call feature that occurs when the volume and power button are pushed simultaneously. He said there were 4 police cars outside the house. I had 2 decisions. I either stay inside and they knock on the front door, or I walk outside with my hands up. So I'm like, if I walk outside with my hands up, what's going to go wrong? Well, I mean, lucky for him that they gave him the opportunity to walk outside with his hands up. Because if you got a call, you're sending 4 cruisers there because somebody's claimed they killed 2 people. You're expecting a pretty intense situation. And so, Elijah may not be our dumbest criminal, but he's one of the luckiest after that. Yeah. So I can think of a number of ways this thing could have gone.
And so when they took him to the ground and cuffed him, they weren't arresting him. They were detaining him.
They were holding him until they could go look at the house
right.
and figure it out. But man, I'm surprised something like that doesn't happen more often, right? I mean, there's so much butt dialing that goes on that. But that's
dumb
a true story.
Criminal for today.
Dumb criminal.
Speaking of butt dial, any final thoughts, Woody?
Being here, Parish Forensics and Louisiana Crematory has been awesome.
Yeah,
Boy and 2 Kristens, and we had some fire boudin for breakfast this morning.
Fire boudin, some real boudin.
Coffee too.
And I'd only been here on a couple of trips to play basketball at Cajun Dome. So I'd only seen that part of Lafayette. Where we went last night was beautiful. The whole area was gorgeous.
On the Vermilion River, all the big homes.
Down by the river, I was really impressed with. And the restaurant was great too.
There it was. 30 years ago, none of that was there when I lived here. So, but anyway, we love and appreciate each every one of y'all. Thank you.
Ruthie was mad at you, by the way.
Oh, because Ruthie, I'm sorry, sweetie.
She wanted to cook for us last night.
Yeah, I didn't get a message or anything, but I know she's here. You know, you're right, Ruthie. I love you. But we love all y'all, and thank you for liking and sharing. If you would, go leave us a review. We appreciate you.
That's it. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agavino,
your host of Real Life, Real Crime Daily. Peace.
Aglets.
HBCUs, they're more than just schools, right? They're where we learn, grow, and build. It's a place where we're free to be ourselves, innovate, and live our best lives while chasing those dreams, and yes, securing that bag. But the journey to success is not always easy. That's why Walmart is here for you every step of the way. From late night study sessions to game day celebration, Walmart's got your back, helping you manifest those big, audacious dreams. Whether you're starting a business, climbing the career ladder, or figuring it all out, Walmart is here supporting Black excellence at HBCUs. At the end of the day, your hustle, your creativity, and your journey matter. Walmart, we're all about empowering you with the spark to keep pushing forward. So let's get to it together. Learn more about how we are amplifying your story at walmart.com/Black and Unlimited. It's your journey, and we're proud to be a part of it.
Expecting heavy downpours all day today.
You're a builder. You build. It's literally in your job title.
Woo, let's hit it.
A little rain isn't stopping you. Not today, not any day. Shouldn't your flashing tape be working through it all too? Only Frog Tape Pro-Grade Flashing Tape's high-performance acrylic adhesive sticks, re-sticks, and stays stuck, even on the roughest surfaces in rain, snow, heat, and more. So you stay in control when it matters most. Show weather who's boss with Frog Tape Pro-Grade Flashing Tape.